Today, I want to talk to you about something that I've discovered after many years. I've been 53 years a priest this week. It's an anniversary for me. And I think about going back to an Old Testament God and a New Testament Jesus and preaching on these stories and finding wisdom in them for this long a time. It's amazing how I've never felt that there's always more there to find. It's always something hidden. It's like God reveals himself in pieces. And my job as a priest is to take those stories and to make them as relevant to your life right now as they should be, as God wants them to be. So I want to look at the God of the Old Testament, the God of the New Testament, that I think I've spent most of my time understanding a distinction between the two. So the first is, the God of the Old Testament is the God who creates. He's an artist. And he created human beings, and he gave them a beautiful garden to live in. That says everything about his intention. I create human beings. I want someone who's free to love me or not love me. I desire intimacy with my creation. I can have that only with people that have free choice. So he created us and placed us in a garden. And the story goes that he gave us some regulations in terms of do this, don't do that. And that fit who we were at that time. And so we were told we shouldn't do a certain thing, and we did it. And if that seems like, oh, what a terrible mistake. No, it's not the mistake. It's this whole God-human story is about revealing who God is and who we are. So what we find out is that we are people that are prone to autonomy. That was the sin of Adam and Eve. I can do this on my own. I can do whatever God wants me to do on my own. And so then you see in the Old Testament this God who then begins to work with Adam and Eve. They were kicked out of the garden not because they were wrong. They were just given a chance to leave the garden and go learn. And that's what people have done from the beginning, learning about themselves and God. And so we find this God of the Old Testament then using human beings to reach people, and there were patriarchs, prophets, kings were pretty disastrous, and scribes and priests. And working through other people was effective to a certain extent, but not enough. So it's like God worked with people through other people and then decided, no, I got to do it myself. So the New Testament is God entering into the world in a human being, and he becomes the model of who we're supposed to be. His name is Jesus. The name means God saves. But the interesting thing about Jesus, the shadow of the Old Testament is we have a God who judges and condemns. The New Testament, we have a figure who is God, Jesus. And we focus so much on Jesus, we don't really notice the reason he came was to put us in touch with the Father. So the Old Testament is about a God who judges and is distant. The New Testament is about Jesus who is saving us. And he does it by saying, I do this for you, but I want you to be like me. And as a child, I thought, well, that meant being like Jesus means perfect. I have to please the Father in everything. But neither one of those captures the essence of who this God is that reveals himself through the Old and New Testament. Let me tell you, as simply as I can, this is what I think he's about. He wants a relationship with us, with you, with me. He wants intimacy. And what is intimacy? Intimacy is a way of being with somebody where there is absolutely nothing hidden. You are absolutely transparent. You are exactly who you are. You have no secrets from the other person. And when you do that, when you have that relationship, there's something that is able to flow between the two of you. And what I would call that flow is love. And what is love? It is not judgment. It is not condemnation. It is no judgment and constant forgiveness. I do not judge you. I do not expect you to be anything other than you are. Intimacy is the radical acceptance of another person as they are. Why do I say that? Because it seems to me, when I look at my life and your life, we're on this planet for a while. Why? Why are we here? I thought it was to prove to God that we'll do what he said, Old Testament, or I'll prove to Jesus I can be like him, perfect. Neither one of those ever worked for me. They're not supposed to work. What works is something much more mysterious. How about we are on this planet with God, who created us in a very unique way, to discover what that uniqueness is and to embrace it 1,000%. He enters into our life and tells us, I see you, I love what I see, I do not judge it, I forgive everything you are, just will you own it? Will you own the person I made you to be? Imagine, what if that is the task? I don't know what happens after we die. I do know about purgatory. Purgatory seems to be that place where you can go and you can have a chance to make amends for what you didn't do. You have to face who you really are. What about, if that's the work of purgatory, then it seems that it's also the work of living here. And what if the whole issue is, God said, I created you unique. There's only one of you. And if you would just accept that in this little interim that you have between my putting you on this earth and inviting you into heaven with me forever, all I want you to do is accept exactly who you are. Because if you can't do that, you can't do the task I want for you in the next life. Could that be true? If it is, it changes everything for me, and it might change it for you, because if I thought I was just asked to accept myself, I would not fall into the trap of trying to be somebody that I think God wants me to be. Or worse, in a relationship, I try to be the person you want me to be if I want you to love me. How difficult is it to simply stand there naked as you are? I mean, if that's easy for you, great. It's not easy for me. It's caught up with all kinds of misconceptions of what's acceptable and what's lovable. Authenticity is lovable. All he wants us to be is absolutely authentically who he intended us to be. If that's the task, then being in a relationship with God where he sits with you, talks with you, opens his heart to you, sees you exactly as you are, and said, everything I see about you is beautiful. And he destroys completely a binary world where we have this judgment thing from the Old Testament where it's either good or bad, right or wrong, dark or light. I'm good or I'm bad. That's not who we are. We're always a combination of dark and light, good and bad. Can you embrace it all? Could you actually sit there with another person who knows you perfectly and look back at them and say, no, I'm not that way? And all God is saying, own who I made you to be. That's all. Own it. Accept it. It's your unique thing that I created. Don't destroy it by trying to be somebody you're not. I mean, who wants to be with somebody who's not who they are? It's never worked for me. I've tried to be something for other people. That doesn't work if I'm not truly authentic. So just imagine with me that the goal of intimacy with God is nothing other than a God who looks at you, knows you, everything about you, and said, look, I want you to look at what I see, and I want you to embrace it and accept it with its shadow and its goodness, its right and its wrong. Can you do that? And if you did that, what would be the effectiveness of that? Why would he ask you to do that? Just for you? No. You do that, then you can make other people, enable other people to do it. Your very presence makes them want to do it. Authenticity. Imagine, it seems so simple to me. God creates you. We each decide, no, that's not good enough. I'll make another person. And then I present that to God and said, am I good enough to get in? And he said, I didn't need you to be somebody else. I didn't need you to be better than you are. I just wanted you. I created you exactly as you are. Can you embrace that? Can you accept that? Can you say, yeah, I really like who I am. I can see it now in your eyes, the goodness, the complexity, the wonder of it all. And I'm ready to embrace the role you give me on the other side. And I'll go through a purgation if that's necessary to make me more authentic. But he wants that to happen here. What a beautiful God we have. He creates a unique being and said, embrace it, accept it, and And then you're willing and ready, and I'm willing and ready to have this intimate relationship. That's what we call heaven, oneness with God. How can you be one with someone who isn't who they are? You can't. That's our greatest weakness, not accepting ourselves. In intimacy, it does it. I don't know how or why exactly, but nothing feels better than someone who looks at you and said, everything about you is beautiful.